Okay, I'd like to call August meeting to order with this moment of silence for the memory of the late passing of our assessor, Hank Greenhouse, followed by a salute for the flag, please. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, before we get started this evening, we have the need for an executive session. I'd like to ask for a motion to enter an executive session to discuss the purpose of matters leading to the appointment and employment, promotion, demotion, discipline, suspension, dismissal, or removal of a particular person. Excuse me. Motion. Second? Second. In favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. It'll be just a few minutes, please.
Straight down.
Is that weird or should that happen?
No, it should not happen.
I tried it twice, and the same thing, the same message.
I'll write you down the number to call.
Okay, a motion to come back into regular session?
So moved.
Second? In favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. We're going to start this evening with approval of the prior town board meeting minutes. Anybody have any questions, comments? Of the public hearing and regular board meeting, Mary put them together, tricked me tonight. Anybody have any questions, comments, or suggestions?
No.
Motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay, written communications to the board. Mary, you have anything?
I only have one, and this came from Germantown on a proposed zoning change. Unfortunately, it came after our last meeting, July 10th, it was mailed, for a public hearing that was held on July 22nd. But it was concerning the enactment of a local law amending the zoning law to extend the current Hamlet mixed-use zone to include all properties with frontage on Main Street from the intersection of Main and Church east to the intersection of Main and Hoover. So just for public's information, but it was too late for us to publicize it.
Okay, takes care of that. It was on the 22nd, so it's over.
Yeah, the 22nd of July. That's all I have.
Okay, slow them up, all right. Okay, we'll move on to clerk report, I guess. I skipped ahead of mine.
Town clerk's report for July. For community house lease, $1,000. Dog licensing, $45. Town clerk fees for vital statistics, marriage licenses, $17.50. Death certificates, $30. Check for the general fund in the amount of $1,092.50. Paid to New York State Department of Ag and Markets for dog surcharges, $18. Paid to New York State Department of Health for marriage licenses, $22.50. Total for the month, $1,133.
Motion, accept the clerk's report.
So,
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
we didn't have just, we might want to know we have a young person here that's working on that. He's here to attend and listen.
Excellent. Okay. We'll get to that in a minute. All right. Response for the web committee. Anybody have any suggestions, comments, helpful advice for the web committee? Okay. Doing a good job, huh? Okay, let's move on to communication, committee reports, please. Ed.
Okay, we finished up the Hoover Fund, so that'll be, we'll see what happens with that for a grant. I did get a hold of with Mary Howard, a grant that seems to fit our criteria for a park very well. Unfortunately, Mary's on vacation still, and she won't be back, I think, for another couple of weeks. So I'd like to, talk it over with her, and then hopefully, when she comes back by next meeting, we should have some information concerning this grant for the park. But it seems to be pretty simple, and it seems to be it looks to be pretty good, but we won't know until next meeting.
Great,
That's about it.
excellent. Good, thank you.
Oh.
Yeah, last month I talked extensively about the park. I'm not going to take as much time this month, but I just want to mention that we did meet with one of the suppliers for equipment, and he sent us some pictures, some proposals. There's a few things that I spoke with him today that we need to make a couple changes, and then he's going to send us revised pictures and revised estimate. We're looking at 3 areas of stuff that we want to put in. There's an area for swings, an area for playground equipment for 5 to 12 age, and another area for 2 to 5. And I think we'd like to try and do the swings this year. We can get some donations and put the funding together and get the estimates. On that list that I had last month, I've collected a couple more estimates for some of the items on there, the items that the highway department would do. Jimmy's given me some estimates, and hopefully by next month I'll have a revise that list so we can, begin to get a look at what it might be over 5 to 10 years. And the only other thing I just want to briefly mention, I did go back through, and most of you probably remember about 8 or 9 years ago, we did a town-wide survey, which we sent out 400 or 500 surveys and got 199 of them back. And one of the questions on there was to pick out the things that you'd like to see in the town. It was a list of 21, we asked them to pick 7. And the highest items on that, the number 1 item was walking and running paths. The second one was park recreation, or public recreation and parks. All right, and then a little further down, playgrounds was high on the list also, which really is part of the park. It's a little bit redundant, but it did indicate that people were interested in having some parks. We never did ask the question how much they wanted us to spend, and I agree with Evan that we don't want to spend a whole lot of money on this. We'd like to get donations and grants that Eddie and Mary Howard are working on. And as I mentioned last month, we probably could spend a little bit of the Con Ed money, which is intended for infrastructure and recreation. But again, we'll talk about that again next month when we get the better estimates.
Good.
That's it.
Excellent. Thank you, Bob.
Nothing to report this week.
Thanks, Mike.
Okay, just a lot of updating here, some of the stuff, the bridge update, I just want to, again, mention the bridge. We're obviously still working on trying to get the bridge on Dingsmore Road replaced. I was told at the last Public Works meeting, which was 2 weeks ago, that the report was coming back with the numbers, the financial numbers and options as far as replacing the bridge. We should have that probably this week, if not next week. So I will, by the time our next meeting come around, have the numbers available and the avenue the county plans on taking on replacing this. I do think it will be on the 2014 block for the funds for next year. So it does look like it's in the works to be replaced. So that's good. I've been trying to get that done for quite some time. And Supervisor from Livingston, Kevin McDonald's joined the fight there to try to get it back open, and Traffic Safety Board also sent a letter, which everybody saw last time, saying that it's a safety issue. So it is coming along, and there is hope that it will be funded for next year.
Is there anybody looking at as Eddie had suggested, again, the Bailey Bridge? Do that?
The county, I don't know if that'll be one of their options. Obviously they put it out to a firm in Albany to come back with some pricing. One of them was a complete replacement, a different style. I don't know until I have that meeting to find out what they actually incorporated in their.
They just put one in Clover.
They said the span on this one concerned them, I think, because it is actually farther,
110 feet.
110 or 15 feet, and that was one of of the issues that they brought up, but again, once I have that meeting, then I'll have some numbers and options available, I guess. So, the data collection, just to update everybody on, it's still just going along well. We just had another 200 parcels approved that was looked at by the data collector. She's making her way around. It's going, it's going well. I think we're on schedule to be finished by when we need to be by October and have it wrapped up. So, if you see somebody coming around, I keep mentioning this every month, if you see somebody coming around your property, she's visiting every property in the town, taking a look, taking a picture of the property, and updating the cards. This is something that will be done every 4 years, on a 4-year basis, to keep the records as up to date as possible. So she is making her way around to everybody again this year.
You probably mentioned also, Ray, that that's something that the state asks us to do every 4 years. Because I did have a call from one homeowner that was wondering, why are we doing this again? We just did it 4 years ago. Well, that's, the state wants it done every 4 years to stay in the program, that they actually do reimburse us a small amount to help cover the cost.
Very small amount.
Yeah.
Very small amount. But yes, that is true. Thank you, Bob. Audit update. We have not got the final report back for the audit. Waiting for a couple informational mailers to return. So we just have a couple things we're just waiting. It's 95% complete. So again, I thought we'd have it by this month, but we will have it for next month's meeting. I would be almost positive. So we'll let everybody know, the results of that when it's available. The court copier, which we were supposed to have, I'm going to throw Lee under the bus, installed, did not get here. There was a mix-up on the delivery, so it got put off. We still have not taken possession of the new one yet. Once we do, obviously we realize that we're going to take the other copier out and put it in the one we use, but we're still waiting for that. I think, I don't know if you made arrangements or not, but that should be here this coming week, so hopefully that'll get finalized and put in, because we could desperately use the other one. So, that's about it. New business, I'd like to just update everybody quick. One of the things, I don't have on the agenda, it was brought up a few months back that about the overpayment of the assessor issue we had. The board went about resolutions to correct the overpayment of the assessor. Just to update everybody, we had the attorney look into it with the state comptroller's office. He got a verbal response from them. They didn't issue a written response, but they did say that the town of Clermont was correct in the resolution for 2013 amending the salary of the assessor. But as far as 2012 went, when we retroactively corrected the salary for the assessor, was not correctly done with the resolution. It cannot be done for a prior year. So what it comes down to wrap it up, is the board found the issue, presented itself with an overpayment of approximately $400 and some to the assessor. We decided, from all the reval work, all the extra work the assessor had done, not to pursue asking him to pay this back. So we approved unanimously to up his salary the $400 to create, or to alleviate this problem. We apparently were not allowed to do it with the board resolution going back to 2012, but we're comfortable with the documentation we have on this, that we feel we don't feel it's necessary to go after the assessor to repay this $400 for the 2012 period. And as it be, the assessor has passed away this past month, so we'll be going back after his estate or the bookkeeper, one or the other, to reimburse us $400. With the documentation we have, with the actions we have taken, I think we've explained this issue as best as possible and handled it as best as possible. And I think, speaking for myself and the board, I don't know if the board can chime in, but I think we're comfortable with leaving it the way we handled it and documented it and moving on. We don't want to spend any more money on this issue for a $400 correction. We've already had the town attorney look into this, which cost a little bit, and we just don't want to spend any more money on this issue. So, as far as I'm concerned, we're going to leave this as we've corrected it and documented it and move on. We have a resolution to pass for, this is something we received last month. This is resolution number 50-13. Whereas General Municipal Law 53 requires town to file a certificate with the New York State Secretary of State designating the Secretary of State as an agent for the service of a notice of claim. Whereas pursuant to General Municipal Law 53 requires the certificate to include the applicable time limit for filing the notice of claim and the name, post office address and electronic mailing address, if available, of any officer or person for the transmittal of notices of claims served upon Secretary as the town's agent. And whereas pursuant to General Municipal Law 50, the applicable time limit for the filing of the notice of claim upon the town is 90 days after the claim arises, or in a case of wrongful death action, 90 days from the appointment of the representative of the descendant's estate. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board, town of Clermont, Columbia County, hereby designates Mary Helen Shannon in her capacity as town clerk to receive notices of claims served upon the Secretary of State by mail at 1795 Route 9, Clermont, New York, 12526, and email at townclermont@valstar.net. Be it further resolved that the town board hereby directs the town clerk to file a required certificate with the state Secretary of State informing him or her of the town's designation and applicable time limitations for filing a notice of claim with the town. This was brought to our attention that the Secretary of State obviously is going to be handling claims, and what it amounts to is if we do not pass a resolution, they're still going to be handling claims, but when they take a claim, the town will receive $25 reimbursement. If we do not pass this resolution, we don't receive anything. I had Andy take a look at it, and he says, you know, obviously it doesn't amount to much, but you really should, you know, you should pass it and get on board with everybody else. So, unless anybody has any objections, I'd ask for a motion to pass the resolution.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay,
It's $250.
$250.
Service
From which
fee.
we get half.
We only get,
We-
125.
$250 service fee. We get that.
oh, we get half at $250, I'm sorry, it was $25. Well, then that's worth doing.
It's right.
Okay, $250, excuse me, I was being mistaken.
I had to look, but I was
Corrected.
pretty sure that's what it was.
Okay, I was like $25. Okay, last month we decided to put the academy building repairs out for bid. They worked up a repair schedule for the backside of the academy. There was some wood cracked boards that need to be replaced. Siding needs to be scraped down, painted, and we're really looking to just obviously the front three sides were addressed prior, but the back was neglected. It was not part of the grant that was done initially, so the backside needed so obviously needs some work. So we put out a repair specification for the back and what we wanted done, and we have 3 bids here tonight to open up for that repair work. First bid is from Jennings Contracting. Description, so we'll read through the details. Labor and materials, $7,450. Second bid is from Stats and Son Enterprises. It's not my Stats and Son. Stats and Son Enterprises, Town of Clermont, sign repair. We'll have to look through the details. Total bid, $2,950. You have to look at that.
Oh, I guess so.
Third bid is from Daryl Milius, which is who we had to paint the town hall. And Stats actually painted the church, and Jennings, I think, put the roof on, so they've all worked for us before. Daryl Milius, total $5,300.
Almost 5, 7.
So what we need to do is compare the bids. take a look at this. I don't know if there's such a discrepancy in prices. I think we need to really look through this before we award this bid. What I'd like to do is probably take a few minutes and read through them before we do anything on that, so maybe we can get back to that if you want to take a look at them while I'm going through this. Okay. We need to, well, I'd like to make an appointment of a new assessor. I talked about, we opened the meeting with a moment of silence. I don't know how many people are aware, but our current assessor had passed away 2 weeks ago, Henry Greenhouse, 3 weeks ago, I believe. You know, he served the town for nearly 6 years. It was almost the end of a 6-year term. Very sad to hear, you know, the news. Obviously, I've worked with him for the past 5 years, and he's done a great service for the town. Some may not believe it or not, but you know, everybody's not always happy with the assessor, but he did a real good job for us. He was well respected through the county. Real Property said he was one of the best assessors in the county. So he certainly lost the assessor community, certainly lost to us as a town board, and to me, I consider him a friend. So I'd just like to say, you know, we certainly I appreciate everything he did for us, and you know, I think I'm speaking for the town board as well, that he gave a great service to the town. So in light of that, we obviously have a vacancy for our assessor. We've interviewed the current data collector, Cheryl Kazluga. She did her data collection 4 years ago. She's doing her data collection now. She is working on her finalizing her credits to be an assessor. She has, I believe, a couple credits left. She has been approved by the county real property director. She's been approved by the state. We sent her information in her bio into the state, and she's been approved as far as they're concerned as a qualified assessor, and she does have up to 2 years to finalize her last couple credits. So the board has discussed this, and we are comfortable with, at this time, appointing her to fill out the remaining term of the current term, which expires in September 30th, I believe. And then, obviously, we'll probably be reappointing her at that point, but at this point, we're going to appoint her to fill out the current term. So what I'd like to do is ask for a motion to appoint Cheryl Kazluga.
So,
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Okay. Sales tax revenue, I just want to update everybody that we received our sales tax. It wasn't in this month's revenues because it just came in August, Friday, 2nd, I think it was. So it's on August bill, but we did receive our second quarter payment for sales tax. It was right on money with what we budgeted. We budgeted $300,000 this year for sales tax. With this payment, you know, we're at 149.7. We're basically at half. The last 2 quarters are usually a little bit heavier. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, we're on track. We should probably exceed our sales tax revenue if everything keeps going the way it is. So I'm comfortable where we are with our revenues at this point. Just to let everybody know that we are still right where we thought we'd be. I do want to just bring up, I just got the notice here, we have a member from the Boy Scout Troop 42 here this evening, working on a merit badge, I believe, for the citizenship in the community. So I'd just like to welcome him and say congratulations. I'm glad to see somebody involved in this, and glad you could be with us. Welcome. We'll move on to supervisor report. Let's see, update. Just want to make sure everybody's aware, and I'll mention now if you're not, probably won't see it on TV until it's over, but this Saturday is our Clermont Village Green barbecue. Hopefully, you know, we're going to have a good turnout. The weather looks like it's going to be nice. Last year it was really hot. This year, hopefully, it'll be a little more bearable. But I want everybody, you know, anybody that can spread the word, you know, the ground's open at 10 a.m. Tractor pulls will be going on, the garden tractor pulls. We start at 10 a.m. and it's going to be great this year. We have Clermont Fire Company performing a live demonstration again, which is nice. We also have something new, the Ravens Beard Wildlife Center presentation from 1 to 2. We're going to have birds, I guess, here, which will be real nice. And you know, it's going to be an all-day event. The grounds are open at 10. And the feeding, yes, the feeding is what, 3:30 and 5:30. So, the servings. You know what I mean. The feedings will be it, but, so, yeah, the servings will be at 3:30 and 5:30. And again, it's always a great event. I hope everybody can make it. If anybody you talk to, let them know. You won't see it on TV, but the word's been out, the sign's been up, and we certainly hope everybody can attend. And volunteers are always still helpful. Anybody that has a few minutes, has time, even if it's a few hours during the day, stop by. It always helps set up things. It goes, anything help out a little bit. So anybody that can make it, much appreciated. That is all you can eat chicken, right? Like the chicken and roast beef. And tickets will be $15 for an adult, $5 for children, 5 to 12, and under 5 are free.
We now have tickets.
And we now have tickets.
And raffle
We have tickets and raffle tickets here. Anybody needs them, obviously stop, see Mary, see me, see anybody, we can get you tickets, obviously. You don't have to have tickets in advance. You can walk in, show up at the door. We'll certainly have music again, I'm sure, and we'll have a good time, so I hope everybody can join us. I don't know if you'd like to add anything. Did I forget anything, Tammy?
No, just all help is welcomed, and people don't want to stay to eat, there's takeouts available.
Good. Tammy is the organizer and the head of the event, and she always does an excellent job, and thank you in advance.
We have a great team.
Okay. Oop. Mr. Davis.
So are we having feedings because we ran out of money and we don't have any utensils?
You can't let that go, can you?
What time should
Sorry, I
volunteers show
thought
up
you
at the
pitched
morning?
it.
Thanks.
Depends what you want to do. I mean, we'll probably start around 7:30.
Let's bring that.
People come anywhere from then until
Yeah.
probably 10 o'clock.
Okay.
Anywhere in between.
Excellent. Thank you.
Sunday's cleanup.
Sunday's cleanup.
Friday's
That's always that's the hardest part. I get people back to help clean up. Okay. I just want to let everybody know the basketball protection pad pole that we purchased has been put on. The basketball hoop was put on 2 weeks ago when it came in, 3 weeks ago. I'm not sure, but the highway guys put that on. Looks good. Protects the pole, or protects people, don't protect the pole. I don't know where I'm at tonight, but it is installed, and that's good. I guess it's, I was just gonna mention a couple things in the county, just a few updates. I don't have a lot to go over tonight, but the courthouse is still obviously under construction. We ran into some problems with the finish date because of all the asbestos work that came up there. It's pushed it back probably a month, realistically, so it was supposed to be done in December. Now they're looking at January. Not the end of the world. Still looks like the budget is in good shape for that. I mean, we are going to be over a little bit what we expected to spend because we increased the $500,000 from the heating system. But as far as the rest of the project, it is actually on budget or under budget a little bit. So we are in good shape on that. Project's up to date. I think we're through most of the asbestos problems, which would be nice because that's just been an ongoing event. Pine Haven. The board approved the new Pine Haven building, architectural work to be done. The first part of the phase was to do the soil borings and the site preparation work to investigate where we can what site we can use. There's been a lot of controversy over trying to go to the site that we originally looked at because of the expenses. There's a $5 to $6 million site charge, which is astronomical. An effort has been put in for the architect to investigate the site where the old building is, but not where the old footprint is. It's very close to that. So they're going to be doing soil borings and looking at that first so they can determine if it's still practical. If maybe change the design a little bit to stack the unit instead of having such a large footprint, which would cut down on the costs. So that part of the contract is in the works. They're working on that now, and they're going to work on that for the next few months here. So we'll have a better idea once they complete some of that work, the initial work. We will not be proceeding with the rest of the contract if we do not feel it is viable as a project and a cost. So we'll know more after they start this first initial phase. Public Works, the roads being worked on, County Road 8, if anybody's traveling to Germantown or not over here, is being paved. I don't know if they've maybe paved it yet, I haven't been over this week, but they started working on repaving part of that from about where the Clermont line is into Germantown is all being repaved. So that's underway, and they're, ongoing road maintenance work. Our bridges, obviously, I mentioned that before, is getting looked at, so that'll have a better update next month. There's a department head meeting this Friday. I'll be attending because it's going to be talking about the upcoming budget. Budget season's here already, especially for the county. We get started a little earlier, and we're concentrating on what can we do to restructure departments as people retire? How can we restructure them to cut back on the amount of full-time employees? That's a focus on what we're looking at right now is through attrition to shrink the actual workforce in the county, because in my opinion, there's a lot of employees in the county, and I think the retirement and healthcare costs are just astronomical. I mean, they're what's driving the budget, and we need to do something about it, and without laying people off, which we don't want to do, the only way to do it is through attrition. So we have to start looking at ways to cut back. So there'll be a lot of information out there for the department heads, what direction we want them to take, and I don't know, hopefully most of the supervisors will make that, because it's going to be an informational meeting for everybody, and we'll start the budget process in the county coming up this next month here. So and mentioning that, we'll certainly be looking at our budget here shortly too. We're going to be probably having a meeting the beginning of September. We'll wait until our next meeting to announce when we'll do it, but coming up in September, we'll set up a date for a budget workshop and get going on our budget as well.
Speaking of our September meeting, are we gonna move that to?
Yes, we are. Thank you. I forgot about that. Mary reminded me too. We do have to move next month because it falls on September 2nd, falls on Labor Day, right? Yes. So we're going to move our next month meeting from the 2nd to the 3rd, which is Tuesday, which is laid out in our organizational meeting that says if there's a holiday, we move to the next day, business day. So our meeting will be moved at the same time, 7 o'clock, Tuesday evening, the 3rd. Thank you. That's all I have. Move on to motion to pay abstracts. Did you get a chance to look through the bid?
Oh, yeah, well, quite frankly, Ray, in my opinion, we have one bid that has 300 lineal feet of repair of siding compared to 120, which is over double. This bid here, there's no indication how much siding is to be repaired. One bid says very clear they intend to put one finish coat on. The other bids don't have indication of finish coats. Oh no, we do. I take that back. That's two coats. That's correct. This middle bid is very vague.
Okay.
I think and honestly, if we're going to be fair, we really should have some
More detail.
It's
Yeah, it doesn't
very
say what it's gonna
vague.
do.
Yeah, and it's the middle of the road. This is extremely low for what we're looking for.
Does it have the linear footage on that one?
Yes, this one is 120 feet. This one is 300 feet. This is the most concise wording of the scope to be done.
Okay. And that's the higher bid that says the 300 feet, so that maybe goes in line with.
Yes, that is
I
correct.
think one of them didn't mention the screen door, well, the one that doesn't have any detail, doesn't even
Yeah.
mention replacing the screen
The
door.
other two do. We
Yeah,
do
and that
have
one just is painting and
installed new
siding.
screen door, straight the gable end to be painted.
One of them
This-
mentions a power wash, the other doesn't. That was
Mhm.
another
Yeah,
difference.
there's quite a few inconsistencies as
Right, the
far
lower
as.
price one doesn't have the power
Apples to
wash, it's got
apples.
scraping.
Yes, scrape power washing and scraping does a much better job than just scraping.
Yeah.
So
If you're not
that
gonna,
might be why this is a
that
bit
might be why
higher,
it's a
plus
lot
it's
lower.
more footage.
Do we have a feeling of?
My recommendation is actually to meet with these three gentlemen and just clear this up.
Okay. Yeah, no, I was
We-
gonna
we
say, we
can-
can't
we can-
award this bid like this. We gotta-
The spread is just,
Yeah.
for this small job, is very
it sounds like
great.
there was a misunderstanding about what we were looking for.
Maybe if we come with a list of questions and we can meet with them individually to address those concerns, we can determine.
What I'd like to do
The
is.
biggest difference between the low bid and the other is the number of linear feet of wood replaced, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Now,
That's part
now,
of
the
it.
one bid doesn't say anything about the number of feet, just says $1,100 to replace all that needs to be replaced.
right.
And since,
Maybe we need to be more specific and write out the whole list of what we want and let them rebid
Well,
on
we
that.
didn't actually have a list of how many linear feet in place, and that's one of the issues, we
And
didn't
do we
label out.
specifically
But
want power
what
wash?
I'm suggesting is that probably in the low bid, there's, the bulk of that is probably for painting. So even if you
Mhm.
double the amount of linear feet that he has to put on, it shouldn't make it that much more, but we should make sure and clarify how much has to be replaced,
Mhm.
and if that bid has to come up a little bit, it would still be the low bid.
But also, did that include the power washing? Doesn't seem
No,
to.
it does not.
And is that something we want done?
Well, yeah, if you're gonna paint it, you really should do that.
Right.
This one says washing, doesn't say pressure washing, it says washing,
Right.
which is pressure washing. sanding.
Probably.
But the other one doesn't mention it at all.
The low bid, in my estimation, is very low for when you consider your overhead of insurance and labor.
What I'd like to
It
do,
just seems,
what I'd like to do is
Very low.
ask you if you take this on, because
Yeah,
I
I'll be more
I
than happy
immediately
to.
have a conflict with two of these bids.
sure.
So I would be recusing myself anyway, and I don't think I should be the one dealing with, interviewing them and talking to them about it. I think maybe you should take it over.
No
And then
problem.
You can interview, go through and make sure everybody's on the same page and get us maybe a more, nailed down number.
I mean,
We also
pick it
know
up
it's
next
at
month
10
or?
Well, I'd like to
try
do,
get
I'd like
this-
to pull a special meeting so we can get this going.
Yeah,
So as
because it
soon
is
as you
August.
could meet with these three, figure out the best bid without telling them, what the bids are.
Absolutely.
Although I just said on TV, so you better do it the next week before it hits the.
We'll do it this week, how's that?
And, I won't take the tape up until we get the answer to this, so.
See, the other thing is, all three of these people have worked for us.
I know.
And they've done good work in the past.
Right.
That is correct.
So, I mean, but a discrepancy of, basically 3,000 to 7,500 is a big,
It sounds like a misunderstanding of the job.
Yeah, that's what I think, and in all fairness for us and them, we should clear up these things.
yeah.
I mean, I hate to dump this on you, but if you got
Oh,
time.
no.
Call them up and make,
I
make
mean,
That's why I'm
time.
on the board.
to
Thing
make-
is, if you talk to the low bid, and he's, yes, I can do all of this and all of that, and everything is good, and he has to add a little bit for more linear feet, then, we'll hold him to it. And he can do it.
Absolutely. We just need to clear up these.
Yeah, but there's something that's gotta be
unknowns.
clarified, because it's just too big a difference.
Absolutely. We can do that.
Okay.
We'll do that and,
All right, so you can let me know as soon as you have
Should we-
met with them, and then, whatever adjustments you need to get from them personally, make the note, and then we'll have a special meeting quick.
yeah, I'll actually call them tomorrow.
Okay.
How's that? And if we can make copies of these,
Yes.
so I can
Yes.
have a copy to begin with.
I don't know what the policy usually is when painting is done, but with the three sides already being done, the front door and the step really needed to be repainted this spring, and there was no paint to be found that matched that. So if that could be something that's thought about as new painting jobs are done, that either the formula is, put somewhere that it can be copied, at Ace or Lowe's or wherever it's bought from, or if there's paint left, that it's labeled that that's what it's for, so that some of these touch-up jobs can be done without having to hire somebody to redo everything.
Well, once they do this, we'll keep the paint, we'll have the paint, so it's,
Okay.
we'll keep some extra paint around. That's
Alright.
what it'll do. All right, so that's what we'll do. We'll hold off on awarding any bid, obviously, till you speak with them, clear, any, misunderstandings, narrow down the numbers, and
We
then we'll have
might
a
be able to
special
nail
meeting.
this down next week.
Yeah, if you
I
have,
don't see why not.
We'll pull it together for Thursday night quick and do a meeting and just award the bid so we can get on the schedule. So, if you just ask the paper not to print the numbers that we read off for the bids, could you please do that? If you were going to, please don't. Thank you. Okay, all right. Motion to pay abstracts, what do we have? Not until I take it.
All right, I move that we pay general abstract number 8, vouchers number 189 through number 218 in the amount of, two slips there. They both read the same, so $9,393.80.
Good second.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
Okay, I make a motion AI Highway Abstract Number 8, vouchers 73 through 83, for the total of $5,770.38.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, two things that I just almost forgot about, I just want to mention. We had an issue, obviously, that was brought to my attention by the recent assessor. The laptop that we use for the town laptop for the, assessor's information, I don't know where my head is tonight. All the data they collect, all the pictures, all the stuff they keep in the laptop. The laptop is outgrown its useful life as far as memory and hard drive, so we have been asked by the new assessor if we could get a new laptop that would accommodate her needs. She checked with Real Property in the county and asked them, what would be sufficient. They recommended a size and a laptop that would be, reasonable for what she would need. She's asked that we, get this for her to help her, keep everything up to date and start working immediately on this. So she submitted a laptop from Lenovo, which is the make of IBM spinoff, I believe. $599.99. We don't know if it includes the software or not. I'm going to check with the county to see if there's, obviously a state contract bid we can buy this on. But what we'd like to do is approve a not to exceed amount so we can work out the details and get this going sooner rather than later. So we talked about this. We'd like to, we're going to approve her to not to exceed $700 for the purchase coming out of the 1355.4 assessor's .4 account. And between Evan and myself, we'll work out the details and go through this and see what we can do as far as getting the best price on this unit and go ahead and order the purchase.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Last issue, just a little bit of housekeeping. 4 months ago, back in April, I guess it was, we had a check that was lost. I just want to get this on the record, what we're doing to correct it. A check was lost on a payroll amount, which happened to be actually Ed Kale's. We reissued a new check to cover it, and somehow the other check got found or got cashed, and it was duplicated, so it was cashed, and the other one was cashed. So he was actually overpaid by 1 month's salary. What we're going to do is, obviously, he's not going to collect the check this month, which will correct that problem, wipes it out, and it's cleaned up. So we're just going to document that. I wanted to be in the minutes, so it's on the record that's why he's not receiving the check this month to compensate for the other one. So, and that'll take care of that. And now, and public comment, public communication. Ms. O'Neill? You got something?
That's all.
No?
Good evening, everybody.
How are you?
You remember when I came a few months ago and talked to you about the Veterans Commemorative Plaques?
Mhm.
Though you haven't seen me for a while, I did do a fair amount of work on that. And it seems that it isn't as simple as we wish it might be, because I spoke with county, state, and federal representatives, federal through Gibson's office. And there is, because of the Privacy Act, or whatever it's called, none of those agencies are allowed to release names, company names. So the best that the person who was the most helpful to me was a woman named Melissa Hogan, who's in the Division of Veterans Affairs in the county office building, 401 State Street. She was extremely helpful. And the best way to go about this that she could suggest was to go to the various Veterans Affairs offices like the VFW and the American Legion and post notices that we're looking for veterans who live in Clermont or who lived in Clermont when they served, and see what happens. And I thought before I do that, I want to come and talk to you about this and see if you think it seems kind of like a scattershot sort of approach. I'm afraid we're going to end up with holes in the data, so to speak. We're not going to get names of everybody. And I'm open to suggestions if anybody has a good idea of a better way to go about this. Apparently, I think the night I first talked to you about this, there was a man here named Meyer. I don't know if anybody knows him, but he's a retired Air Force person. And I think he said, and I've tried several times to call him and haven't gotten through to him, but as I remember, he said they did something like this in Red Hook. So they evidently succeeded somehow in doing it in Red Hook, but I don't know quite how they went about it. So if you like, I could see if I could check with Red Hook. I think he said it was the VFW that did it there. So what do you think?
Boy, I don't know, it's, they would know more help than that in the county. It's the only thing I could suggest is no other way to try to get this data.
No, she gave me a list. She wrote me a letter with a list of all the, in fact, I'd have to go town by, through to several towns, Germantown and Clermont. It's our usual problem that the mailing addresses are different. And so it is even more complicated for us as a town than it would be, for example, for Red Hook.
Right.
But that's the best you could do.
Yeah,
And I don't know how to go about this. And I feel kind of sad and guilty. I don't know.
Well, I think that announcing it publicly and maybe getting something in the papers here tonight, and going to the organizations, you get as many as you can and try to, get as much publicity out. If people know somebody that can let you know a veteran that was serving, living in Clermont at the time. And
Well, I guess
get the best
maybe
you
what
can. One other possibility, which might be more work than we'll put in, but a lot of 201 files are in the county records because people put and that's public record, but you go and have it recorded. So maybe the county clerk could help if they have those all in the same book. Maybe we could flip through.
What kind of file?
The discharge file.
Oh, that's a thought. Yeah.
Okay, and most
suggested that. That's
most
a very good
veterans
idea.
would keep that because if, like, for example, if you want to get a veteran's exemption, you have to show that form. Or if you want to get they have a program from the state where you can get discounts in certain stores, you've got to show that form and then get a card. So I don't know if that will help or not, but it's a possibility.
All right, I will go and see where that goes. I will.
You may have the privacy issue come up there as well.
Do you think so?
That's a public
But
record.
if they're reported as a public record, you should be able to go through and look at it, I would think. Or maybe not, but Holly would certainly tell you that.
Yeah.
Probably the VFW or somebody's going to be the best help.
Who?
The VFW, American Legion.
That's what I was told.
Probably the
Yeah.
best bet.
That's what I was told.
There's
But
such a
before
chance
I
of
start
missing
doing this
somebody.
and putting up notices and so on, I thought I would just bring it to your attention that this is the way I was told is the best way the only way really to go about it. So if you think I should do that, I'm more than happy to do it. And I suppose there's nothing to be lost. We can do this and see what it leads to. And if it seems very meager, maybe that isn't a good way. I don't know.
So, Dan, what are you actually looking for? You looking for particular wars or?
Well, the most recent one that is commemorated in there is the Vietnam War.
Okay. So, but you're
And
looking,
the way
for...
she describes it is that's who served during a period of conflict. So it doesn't have to be a war, but a period of conflict.
Yeah, but you're not looking for all veterans, including those that served in peacetime. You're looking for conflicts.
Well, that's the way we have done it
Yeah.
to date
Okay.
by listing the names under the war or the conflict.
Yeah,
So I think that's the way we should continue it.
okay. And, you get as many as you can, and listen, if you miss somebody and they come back and complain, then we can add them on later.
Okay, well, thanks for
Right.
that.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't see any better way to do it, unfortunately, if there, it doesn't seem like there's much out there
No,
to
it's
try to do something
frustrating.
nice, I mean, it's too bad. but-
And I would say to those who are listening on television that if you are one of these veterans, please
Or no
contact
one.
us.
Or no one.
Or no one, yes. Please contact us through Mary, Mary Dumont, because you're the easiest person to find. Through Mary in the town clerk's office. So that's subject number one. The other thing that I wanted to bring up is that Desiree approached me a few weeks ago because her daughter was married in our academy. When was she married?
May
Yeah.
25th.
May 25th. And Desiree did a quite extraordinary job of decorating the building, the interior of the building, for this wedding. And she came to me and said, Diane, there's so much we could do at very little expense that would make this so much nicer and more festive and welcoming. She set up the little room, when you walk in the door, there's a small sort of sitting room on the right, and then there's the large parlor on the left. And she turned the little sitting room, which is really not a sitting room, it just has odds and ends in it. She made it into a sitting room, and it looked charming. So, do you want to say a word or two about your ideas? We thought we could work together and get curtains and use there's a small budget for the historian. And with your approval, we thought we could work together and do a few of these little decorating things. And I'm delighted to have somebody who's interested in helping me. And of course, what we're going to do is work on thinking about what to do in September. And then we'll come and talk to you in October before we actually do it. Does that sound good?
Sounds good.
You want to say a word or two?
Of what we want to do?
Yeah.
We'll be holding our budget workshops in early September, so if you think about something that's budget related, I'll actually ask you, I'll get you.
Well, okay, that would be good. But we still have budget for this year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some of the ideas were to hang curtains, just simple sheer draperies that very economical and would soften the look and kind of tie everything together. To move the furniture that's in the parlor into that little sitting area. When I used it for the wedding, I made that a ladies' lounge because it tied in with the one bathroom. And then the parlor could have tables and chairs so that it can be used for, really used for functions, whether it's, showers or meetings or card club meets there, but to have tables and chairs set up there so that it can be used for anything from meetings to luncheons. Someone I was speaking to was interested in renting the kitchen on occasion, that she does functions, and thought that would be, and I was certainly happy with the idea of having the space available and to rent that for the day. So sometimes it's not even the whole building, it's just the kitchen. So it could even be presented that way for marketing purposes to bring different ideas. And there's some touch-ups that need to be done as far as painting or floors, refinish, that kind of thing. Same thing with the church. Same kind of repairs need to be done. Nothing drastic, but just brings it all kind of together. And right now it's, I think, kind of up in the air of who cleans it. I think it's sort of left to the person that's going to be using it. From my experience, the week of a wedding is a really tough time to go in and clean something that you're going to use. So it might be worth raising the price a little bit to cover the expense of having the church cleaned. Church and the community house. Which certainly isn't, we don't charge much now for it.
I know we asked you, I think last month or the month before, to do whatever you could to help, market the place, spruce it up a
Right,
little bit.
and I talked to, I didn't want to go ramrodding in there and move a bunch of treasures around and find my house egged.
I'm just wondering if you maybe could get together and try to maybe put down some of this on paper, like a list, and maybe some numbers with it, and then present those for the budget period, and we'll discuss what we can do for next month's budget, next year's budget, and we also.
Do you know, do you have
budget?
budget meetings set up yet or not?
Not yet, we're probably gonna do it in early September, early mid-September, so.
One of the things that we discussed was the lovely boat that's over there, because it's kind of big, and everybody knows what the boat is. And it's a great item, but there's other places that it might be better seen. And one of the things that was suggested was the history barn in Livingston.
I've heard, about sailing down the river, I've heard about all kinds of stuff, but, the history bar.
Someplace that, still kind of ties it in with the area, and it gives it a place to be seen and find more people.
Yeah.
Find more people, and, it very slowly will deteriorate. It doesn't take much to bump into it, and, another.
Well, and that's, because that's another thing, we do have to move furniture at times for the election day dinner and everything, and that could easily get broken.
Doesn't take much moving on.
Doesn't take
so.
Yeah, and it's heavy. It's not an easy thing to move.
If you're gonna move it somewhere, would Clermont State Park be another possibility?
I think it had been there and had got shifted back over here.
No, it was at the County Historical Society, wasn't it?
Oh, the House of History in
Oh, no,
Kinderhook?
maybe
It
you're,
was in Clermont for a little while.
you're right.
Sounds
But I
like-
think maybe it was in both places. But you're right, they sent it to us.
I think with this.
They got a nicer one.
But Diane, didn't the state park do, the Friends of Clermont do a wooden one at the anniversary of the 200th?
Yeah, they got a nicer one than ours, so they gave ours back.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe
that's what
Germantown School's got a place for it. I don't know. I haven't been there in 40 years, so
We could look into that again,
that might just,
yeah. But again, if you just jot some of that stuff down, some, whatever requires some numbers, that would help us, and then we can, look at it all and consider and see what we're doing, what we're asked.
as long as it's, kind of soften the idea to everybody about kind of moving things around and changing the kind of format and layout of the way the rooms are used. Try and make it, more desirable to people
For use.
Sure.
more usable. Yeah.
Makes sense, absolutely. Thank you. Public comments? Communications? No more cracks and feedings?
I was just gonna,
Beat you to it. There's no other, you got something? Okay, Mary.
I did get my new computer, and,
forgot your computer.
yeah, it has not been hooked up yet. I'm hoping next week. And on August 15th, which is a Thursday night, I will be starting to sell the deer management permits. They're online as of August 12th for sale, but since I won't be here, that'll be the first time. They'll be available here. Deer management permits and hunting and fishing licenses. So, starting that up.
Start up already.
Yeah,
Tis the
that's-
season.
You want to say about the verification? You want to
Go on.
the water verification? So you want to
What the budget?
Yeah.
Okay, no other comments? I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move.
second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Thank you.
Who seconded that?
Evan.